Welcome to the Motherhood Alliance podcast, the podcast dedicated to empowering moms and families on their health and wellness journey. I'm Brittany Suttner.
And I'm Andrea Rinkus. Together, we're here to explore holistic approaches that go beyond conventional medicine.
Each week, we dive into topics that matter most to you. Everything from nutrition and mental health to alternative therapies and natural living.
And whether you're a new mom navigating the early stages of parenthood or a seasoned pro looking for new ways to support your family's well-being, you're in the right place.
Even better, all of our guests are local small business owners who you can actually talk to and work with. You can learn more about today's guest and connect with hundreds of other health and wellness professionals through our informative and easy-to-use directory at motherhoodalliance.com.
Before we get started, keep in mind that this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for personal healthcare advice. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any changes based on the podcast content.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Are you ready to help your family thrive? Let's get started. Hi, we are Britt and Andrea from motherhoodalliance.com, and we are excited to welcome you to a 4-episode series with Elisabeth Potaczek, the owner of Soul Echo Yoga based in Appleton, Wisconsin. Elisabeth brings a truly holistic approach to everything she teaches by blending her backgrounds in yoga, massage, and functional personal training to create classes that are unique and have intention behind every movement. Her specialties include functional yoga, meditation, yoga nidra, and pre- and postnatal yoga, all grounded in the belief that mindful movement is one of the best ways to take care of your body and mind. Whether you would consider yourself a yogi or not, we believe that you'll learn a lot in these episodes as we discuss the history of yoga, styles, myths, and numerous benefits of yoga. When she's not teaching, you'll likely find Elisabeth hiking, strength training, reading a good book, cozying up with her 2 rescue cats, Olive and Remy, or joyfully preparing for a baby in early 2026 with her husband. Okay, it's time for you to meet Elisabeth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Motherhood Alliance podcast. We are excited to welcome a new guest today. Welcome to the mic, Elisabeth.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we are beyond excited for this series because I think everybody's heard of yoga. Some people have tried it, some have not. Some have tried it one time and given up, and others, it's just everybody's all over the board.
Too impatient to keep going. Yeah, we'll talk about all that. Yep.
And I think this episode is going to be so rich for so many people, whether you would consider yourself a yogi or not. But before we jump into all of that, I'd love to hear a little bit about your fun fact, which is that you double majored in French and that you studied abroad in Normandy for a semester. So tell us, why did you choose French and Normandy, and then a little bit about those experiences?
Yeah, so I have an older sister and she took French. And so when it came time for me to pick a language, I was like, I want to be cool like my older sister, so I'm going to do French too. And I just fell in love with French. So
it is a beautiful language.
And the culture and I'm a total Francophile. I watched the Tour de France every summer, and that was like after I studied abroad. So it's a kind of interesting journey. But yeah, so I don't know why, but I tested really well on my college placement exams. And everybody in my French class in college had 4 years in high school, and I only had 2. So I was like already behind. But my professors, like Madame Parker at UW-Stevens Point, like I just can picture her. She took us to France when we went. She's just this wonderful person. And Madame Johnson helped me so much. And it was so magical going there. Like, I don't know if you watch any French movies, or Amélie is like one of the funniest little French flicks. Like, and it's just so quirky, and that's just how France is. Like, everybody's like, oh, they're so rude. And it's like, well, if you amuse them and you try to speak French, they'll be nice. But I just have the best memories from studying abroad. And it was really like my first time like far away from home. And really making those lifelong friends that you were traveling with and getting those experiences that, I'd been to Milwaukee, I'd been to Chicago, but I hadn't. Like going to a club in Paris with your friends from the Ivory Coast is like a completely different scenario.
Did you ever consider moving there?
Oh, I wanted to. I really wanted to. But the logistics, like I'm not a planner. So the logistics of trying to figure that all out, I was just like, I'll just, watch the tour every summer and eat my Nutella toast and drink coffee and
Now, I've heard so much about the food in Europe. I have not been there, but just the food is just so different, and things you might be sensitive to here in America, you can actually eat there because it's just different. So definitely a place that I'd love to go visit as well.
Highly recommend.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background when it comes to yoga. Have you always loved the fitness industry? How did you get into yoga, and how's it kind of like shifted throughout your life?
Yeah, so I started running track and field in middle school. So I've been active since 6th grade. And growing up in Green Bay, there was one yoga studio, Bay Area Yoga, with Catherine Kelly Hoffman. And I went there a few times growing up because, running just makes you tight.
Yeah.
And I just loved it, but it wasn't like the right time for me to dive in. And then ran all through high school and into college and started going to more yoga classes in college, but was really still focused on the fitness side of personal training and teaching other group exercise classes. I ran my first marathon in Chicago in 2003, and the way I survived that was doing my yoga class at work once a week, attending. And then after that, I really decided hey, I can teach this, so did my first yoga fit training in 2004 in Chicago, and then moved home to Green Bay the following year after running the Paris Marathon.
Oh,
My mom went with me because she didn't come over when I was studying abroad. So we went, that was like our trip to Paris together. And I was so proud of her because she maneuvered the city so well. And she just had a great time.
I suppose she'd have to be by herself trying to figure out where to go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she did so great.
Yeah.
And we had the best time. And I saw parts of Paris that I had never seen before. Running a marathon course, and I had started teaching yoga at that time and have been teaching ever since. But definitely wanted to get that fitness aspect. That's why I love Yoga Fit, because they're based in exercise physiology principles and they make it really accessible. But I've done a lot of other trainings too, which I love. But that was just kind of how I got into it, was through the fitness world, and then it's evolved.
Yeah, so you have a fitness background, personal training background. You also have a massage background too, is that right?
Yeah, so in 2005 when I moved home, that's why I moved home, was to go to massage school. Really wanted to kind of do it all for my clients.
Yeah.
I want to kick your butt, and then I want to make you feel better.
I
just
love
thought it
that.
would make me more marketable. And there's just something so healing and that deeper connection with your clients when you lay your hands on them and you literally make them feel better. I miss it. And I really love where I've landed.
So did you complete massage school?
Yep.
Okay. So, wow, that's just so much knowledge in the back of your brain, especially now that you're teaching yoga. This is your business.
Yeah.
To be able to bring that knowledge into your rooms as well.
I love that you have all this, path of this physiology, you understand the muscles and everything else, and just being able to put your hands on people. Because even in personal training, you put your hands on, the muscles, but when you're doing massage, you really need to know kind of where the fibers are going and everything else. So you really are going to be able to help your clients so much more. I love that. I wish more did that.
And it's tricky too.
Yeah.
It's great, to have those certifications kind of boost each other up, but it gets really expensive.
Yeah.
And you just kind of find your way with do I want to be with a person one-on-one all day, every day? And that's very, for me, mentally exhausting. So the group aspect of teaching a yoga class is you can reach more people in less amount of time for the same amount of energy. So.
Mm-hmm. And I know in episode 3 of our series here, we're going to be talking a little bit about holistic yoga and functional yoga, and that's something that's kind of unique about you that you bring into your studio. So we'll be touching on how you kind of bring all these background and certifications into your yoga practice in a little bit. But in this episode, we really wanted to talk about breaking down some barriers that's holding a lot of people back from enjoying yoga. And I kind of want to bring up a big one right away that I've seen, because Dre and I have been in the personal training and the fitness space for a long time, and it's about the spiritual side of yoga. Can you give us a little bit of a background on where yoga started?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I am no expert, like my training was a while ago, and it's not something that I focus on, but a lot of instructors do like that background. So it's 5,000 years old. It began in India. It is part of the Hinduism religion, but it is not inherently religious. It's a spiritual practice. So it's kind of like, I could call myself a recovering Catholic. Like I could go to Mass if I wanted to. I could even take sacrament because I'm confirmed, but I choose not to. And so I kind of like reconcile it in my head with it's a portion of that practice, but it is not inherently itself religious. It's more of that spiritual discipline. It leads to the union of your consciousness with that of what we call universal consciousness in yoga. So you might call that God in Christianity. And it brings harmony between your mind and your body. So that, for you and at church, praying might do that for you. So I can understand people's skepticism and hesitation. And I think that just practicing any form is going to bring you to another level. And so whether that's praying, whether that's getting on your yoga mat, whether that's studying Christian philosophy or yoga philosophy, it's all benefiting you. Mm-hmm. Nothing is holding you back.
Mm-hmm. And by doing these certain movements that are, under the umbrella of yoga, it doesn't mean that you are practicing Hinduism. Is what you're saying.
Like a lot of the physical poses, the asanas we call them, are like named after Hindu gods, but when you do them, you're not necessarily worshiping that god per se. You're simply, that's just what they chose to call the pose.
Yeah, it's just a name. Yeah. It's really your perspective going into it too, and how you're practicing.
I think for me personally, I know a lot of instructors use the Sanskrit names for poses because they find that to be more truthful and more honoring to the practice.
So that's like an example.
Shavasana.
Sure.
Final resting pose.
Yep.
I call it everybody's favorite pose.
Yeah.
However, I don't find that accessible personally. And I also don't want to turn people off because I know, like, even when I attend a class and they say a certain Sanskrit pose, I have to look around and make sure that I know what they're talking about because I don't have them memorized, which take it or leave it, like it or not, it is what it is.
Right.
Like that's how I practice and choose to teach.
Yeah. So instead it's like, goddess pose or something like that or whatever. So you say stuff like that instead of the really long Sanskrit.
Right. As I feel like that's a barrier for a lot of people.
I would think that too.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would just make them, depending on their spiritual background, and it could, like Dre and I are Christians, and so just to share our perspective, especially since we've been in fitness for a long time, when we're doing yoga, to me, it's a form of exercise that is very, very, very good for my body because, I don't take the time to stretch.
Well, and
Let's
it slows you down. So it is a spiritual practice in that you can meditate, you can talk to God, you can pray. You can use it however you want.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so it does force me to slow down in my busy life. It makes me to, you guys, in prior episodes, we've talked about how if you are busy, and for Christians specifically, if you're listening to this, it's like you can't hear from God unless you slow down. And so this is an opportunity to force yourself to slow down and be willing and open to listening. And so those quiet poses, no matter what spiritual background you have, you can use that in whatever way you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another tool in the toolbox.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. But I do appreciate you kind of sharing that about the background and the names, because I think that is where people get a little bit squirmy, is they're like, you're saying these terms, they sound really like Hindu-ish, and that's not what I worship. And so now I feel like I'm almost like cheating on my religion in a way. And so it gets people really squirmish in that way. So here's a question, is if somebody is looking at a type of class, are there certain types of class that's going to kind of bring in more of that, I don't want to say Hindu background, because, it all is based in that from tradition, like the actual movements were created there, which I get and I can respect. But are there certain classes that are going to kind of bring in that piece that makes people nervous versus some classes, the type of class is going to make them more comfortable if this is something they struggle with?
I think it just varies so much studio to studio and where their instructors were trained.
Yeah.
And it can be challenging. That's why, like, when people are like, oh, I went to yoga once and I didn't like it, like, try another space.
Try a different teacher.
Try a different teacher.
Interview before you go, right?
Yeah.
You can ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, too, kind of going back to, it's hard because all the different studios name their classes different things.
Yeah, and that's so true. Because you could go to a boot camp and it's named something different in a different place, Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it really is, I can't say that there's like a specific class to look for. But like on my schedule at the studio on Monday mornings, I have a total body wellness class. We do a lot of yoga, but we do a lot of other stuff too. And so maybe looking for non-traditional, like tonight I teach a vinyasa flow. That's a very traditional name. I don't teach a traditional vinyasa flow per se. I offer it to people who want to do it, but people who've come to my class looking for that vinyasa flow that they're used to at other places, they're like, oh, well, this was different. And I'm like, well, yeah, but this is like the fastest paced class we have, but it's not for everybody.
So what is the way, if somebody wants to join into a yoga class, but they kind of want to understand the instructor's background first and just kind of understand if they're going to be feeling uncomfortable, if they're going to feel comfortable, how this instructor specifically approaches this, what's maybe a good question for them to ask the instructor to help understand that instructor's background and philosophy?
I think just like asking like where they were trained, like what their personal philosophy is. So, and we make it pretty clear on the website that we're inclusive and we try not to be intimidating. We want people to feel very comfortable. Whereas like I think, if you look at other websites or instructors or where they were trained, it can, like if they went to an ashram for their 200 hours, they're going to be much more traditional. So looking at credentials, most instructors have at least their 200 hours. Some have more. It's really...
So just do your research, right? Do your homework before you go in. And you can always try a class. I mean, I would think that a lot of studios might even have a free class, first free class or something too.
Yeah, a lot do. We do $25 for 2 weeks unlimited.
Nice.
So that you can kind of try all of the different instructors, because we are, like, I feel like the instructors we have at our space are very different and offer a very different style. And if you don't like one, you'll definitely like another, because we're so different.
Nice.
Versus like a lot of studios hire their own graduates if they have a teacher program. And so it's very similar. And if you like that, great.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's to each their own too. So, and I know you've talked about like different certifications that different instructors have, and you mentioned a few. So some of them are a little bit more deeper into that traditional sense, and some of them are like new age, I guess, like, so can you kind of give us a background on the different certifications that maybe people want to be looking for depending on what they're interested in?
Yeah. So if you're looking for a more traditional yoga class, the 200 hours from most studios is going to be kind of that baseline. And there are, kind of circling back to that, Christianity and yoga, I know that there are a handful of certifications where people have kind of taken certain aspects of the quote unquote traditional yoga practice and made it less Indian or less Hindu, made it more palatable for if you worship a different god. And I think it's important to speak to the fact that like Hinduism is an all paths to God religion. So when, like if you are a Catholic or a Jewish person and you show up to yoga class, you're not ever going to be judged. Mm-hmm. Whereas like you bring that to class, you're kind of judging yourself, and it's reconciling again that internal struggle where it's not about the religion, it's about the practice and making it work for you. So there are other ways to practice yoga. And we talk a lot about the physical practice because we're fitness people.
Yeah.
And the asanas are only mentioned in yogic texts 3 times, the actual physical practice. So there's 8 limbs of yoga that we'll kind of touch on in a different episode. But it starts with like mentally preparing yourself, emotionally preparing yourself, practicing ethical practices that they recommend. I've called them in the past the 10 commandments of yoga, but they're not the commandments. They're just agreements that you make with the universe and with yourself. So asana comes after that. The physical practice is just a preparation for you to be still with, that really uncomfortable part of like slowing down and being still. They only brought in the physical practice so that it was easier for you to meditate for longer periods of time. And we have just like flip-flopped it.
That's so interesting. Yeah. This was a really interesting episode. I want to say thank you to you because I feel like this can be intimidating for people if they have these like feelings in their back pocket where like, I just don't know, but they also don't want to just like walk up to any yoga instructor and like ask these questions because they don't want to offend anyone either. There's just that kind of balance. So I appreciate you being open and honest and sharing your perspective, allowing us to share ours and just opening this conversation up so that everybody can be a part of it.
And I feel like people could really like even come to you and ask questions too. So it's really nice to know when there's a yoga teacher, like in this case, that can really just be open to all those different questions.
I love having those conversations and helping people feel comfortable.
Wonderful.
Where is your studio located?
We're right downtown Appleton above Voyager's Bakehouse. So we're right on the corner of College Avenue and Appleton Street across from Houdini Plaza. I love teaching on Sunday and Monday when Voyager's is closed because I'm not tempted to get a latte and a croissant.
Yep.
You must have rumbly stomachs in your classes a lot because it's that aroma of the baked goods.
Yes.
We actually don't smell, the ventilation's really great. So that doesn't happen like when you walk into festival, you smell the bakery.
Or Costco, you're like, oh, they're going to get you. Yep.
Well, I do want to share with listeners that Elisabeth is offering one free class when you mention this episode or any of our episodes and one thing that you learned, which I love that you're adding that on as well.
Oh, nice.
So you guys, I hope that you can see that she is an open book. She has a lot of awesome certifications, like we mentioned in the beginning. So her classes are maybe a little bit different and unique. And if you've tried yoga in the past and you want to try it again, she'd be a great one to go to. What is your website, or how would someone take advantage of that free class if they want to?
Yeah, they can. Our website is beingcollective.us. It's my larger company with my business partners. So the class information is on there. The events that my partners do are on there. And then you can register through Fit Degree, which the link is on there to sign up for classes. Or you can just email me at soulechoyoga@gmail.com and let me know that you want to come, and I'll get it all taken care of for you.
Thank you so much. And we have 3 more episodes coming up. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for these. Again, in the intro, we mentioned, even if you're not a yogi, you're going to find these episodes so interesting. In our next one, we're going to be kind of breaking some more myths. This one that we talked about in this one is kind of a big one that I think that holds people back from trying yoga. But what about the ones of like, I'm not very flexible, or I just feel like nervous and embarrassed to go to a class, or yoga's kind of expensive, I can't afford it, or what props do I need? All of these different things to help, especially beginners, break down these walls and try this, because there are so many benefits. And we'll be breaking down the actual benefits of yoga, the physical benefits, the mental benefits, so many different things in another episode after that. And then we'll be finishing out this series with talking about holistic yoga and kind of Elisabeth's background in bringing in functional yoga and what that actually looks like. So we have some awesome episodes coming up next. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider leaving a rating or review or sharing it directly with a friend who could benefit from the information? We know that you're a busy mom or caregiver, and our goal is to make your life easier by bringing tips and tricks directly from experts into your earbuds. By sharing this episode with someone you love, you can play a critical role in helping to make their life easier as well. We appreciate your time, and thank you for being a part of the Motherhood Alliance family.